Hello everyone and welcome back to the Top Vloggers. I am High and Mighty Joe. We have a wonderful vlog for you. So stay tuned and we'll see you there. The story of apocalyptic cult leaders don't often end well, especially for most of their devoted followers. In the case of a preacher from Indianapolis named Jim Jones, the story ended with the death of more than 900 people, most of them by suicide. That was on November 18th of 1978 in Ghana, South America, where Jones and his flock had built a community nicknamed Jonestown. In the days that followed, America would see the news in horror as photos and videos from helicopters showed a panorama of dead bodies sprawled and already bloated in the tropical sun. Now, Jim Jones was, well, he was born in Randolph County in the community of Crate, Indiana. His family moved to Lynn during the Great Depression. Jim, he started college at Indiana University, and he graduated from Butler, and he was ordained by the Disciples of Christ. Now, the very first time that Jones shows up in the Indianapolis Star archives is in 1953, when he was just 22 years old. He was a student pastor at Somerset Methodist Church on the city's south side. The story described a dynamic young minister working with orphans at the Marion County Children's Guardian Home, where he was organizing softball games and picnics, and he arranged transportation so the kids could come to the church on Sundays. But by 1954, Jones was back in the news again, in the Indianapolis Star, in a bizarre story involving imported monkeys. According to the story, he had been importing monkeys from India and South America to sell as a fundraiser for his church. The story ran with a photo of Jones holding two of the little monkeys. I will show you that photo now. In 1955, Jones started his own congregation. After being affiliated with several different Indianapolis churches, they met right here where we are standing today at 1502 North New Jersey Street. This is actually still a church today. It is not. This is actually still a church today. It is not affiliated with obviously the People's Temple. But it is affiliated with obviously where Jones started growing his congregation. It grew so big that it needed to move to a larger building. That's when they moved to North Delaware Street, and I will show you that here in just Delaware Street. Now, as I said, they were getting too big for the building that they were in, so they had to move over to Delaware Street, which is where we're at now. Just south of 10th Street, and Jones named his new church the People's Temple. Now, in the early years of Jones' ministry, he seemed to kind of walk the walk. He seemed to go to soup kitchens and fed hundreds every day. He organized employment assistant services, in which church members helped the jobless find work. He gave them decent clothes to wear to job interviews. Jones and his wife, the healing of America's divide between the blacks and the whites always seemed to be at the core of Jones' message. And the People's Temple reflected that in the diversity of its congregation. A rarity then, and even 30 years later, as we are here today. I think the message of divide between the blacks and the whites is still very relevant today. In 1961, Indianapolis Mayor Charles Boswell appointed Jones to be the director of the city's Human Rights Commission. Now that had been created to address racial problems in Indianapolis. Boswell later said that Jones helped pressure certain store owners and theater managers to be more welcoming to black customers. As time grew on and Jones would focus more on the integration, the people did not seem to take too kindly to it. Mainly the white people, not all of them, but a majority of them. It seemed to be. Even his wife at one time was walking down the road and spat on while she was walking with their black child. So things did not seem to be going so well. And at this time, Jones would take his preaching to be more based on his own words rather than biblical scriptures. Some members began to leave the church, while other members became more frequently devoted to Jones. Like other Pentecostal preachers, Jones sometimes performed faith healings. At first, these were of the sorts where a person's strength of faith could make them feel stronger and less burdened by their pain. After a while, however, Jones started pulling cancerous tumors out of people's mouths in front of the congregation and things like that, and it turned into almost a sideshow there for a while. Now, during the last few weeks before the People's Temple left Indianapolis for California, Jones was often gone. He spent a lot of time in Brazil and places like that where the church was supporting mission work. But he also had another reason. He believed, or said that he believed, that the world was going to come to an end and that the end of the world would be at the form of a nuclear holocaust. Now, in the early 1960s, this wasn't a crazy idea because the massive buildup of missiles between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, which they had already aimed at each other. Jones was interested in Brazil because he had read that it was one of the places on the planet where people were most likely to survive if the Cold War turned hot. But when Jones came back to Indianapolis, he told his congregation they were moving, but not to South America, not yet anyway, but to California. And in 1965, Jones and 145 Indianapolis residents got on buses and they left Indiana. It would later be revealed that Jones made each of them sign over all of their worldly possessions. Not many owned their own homes, but they gave over their savings, their furniture, and even their Social Security checks. Now, by the late 1970s, Jones was making arrangements to move his church out of the United States, and he picked a spot in Ghana, South America. There he basically employed the same tactics of bringing local officials to gain their collaboration as well. It all began to fall apart in November of 1978 when the California governor Leo Ryan flew to Jonestown to investigate allegations made by relatives of some of Jones' followers. While he was there, he announced that anyone wanting to leave could accompany him on the flight back to California. Several people took him up on that offer, but as they reached the airstrip where the plane was waiting, Ryan was killed along with several others. Now, back at the compound, Jones, he gathered the faithful and he told them it was time to die. He said, they prepared for this day. They even rehearsed it. They brought out big tubs in which they mixed the cyanide in with powdered grape drink, similar to Kool-Aid. And one by one, they drank it and they died. Not everyone took it willingly. Some were forced to drink it, and those who resisted were shot. A small few survived by fleeing into the jungle. Jim Jones died there as well. He shot himself after killing his wife and one of his children. It was rumored that Jones had escaped, but when the bodies were brought back to the United States, fingerprints had been taken, and the body confirmed that it was Jim Jones. So that is the story of Jim Jones and Jonestown. And well, just a sad day. Well, we are on our way home, and I hope you guys really enjoyed that vlog. I enjoyed giving you that vlog. It was very interesting and very informative, and I learned a lot doing the research for that vlog, and I hope you guys enjoyed me giving it to you. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and as always, we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon at The Top Vloggers. You can if you want to become a Patreon, don't forget to do that at patreon.com. The Top Vloggers. You can help us out by fueling our car and museums and all different kinds of things. If you'd like to help, you can do that. I believe we're going to go see Adam the Woo right now, so let's go ahead and go see that.
So cold here at Kokomo. My hands are cold. If I don't
Adam,
have something to warm.
I brought you a pair of gloves.
Who are you? Who are you, sir?
My name is Joe Young. I'm from the Top Vloggers, and I brought you a pair of gloves so your hands won't get cold right here in Kokomo, Indiana.
Joe Young from the Top Vloggers has warmed my hands up. Thank you, Joe Young from the Top Vloggers. You're an angel. Yes. Yes.
Nailed it.
They match.
Well, I'm super excited. We just got to meet Adam the Woo. It was totally a pleasure. He is wonderful, down to earth. If you ever get a chance to meet Adam, go ahead and take him up on that offer. It's a pleasure to meet him. And what did you guys think about it?
I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty awesome. It was good and to subscribe.
And don't forget to subscribe to Adam's channel. And as always, subscribe right here to the Top Vloggers. Well, we're on our way back home, and it was really great to see Adam the Woo. And if you guys get a chance to meet him, go ahead and take him up on that offer. It's really a pleasure. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and as always, Top Vloggers.